At 6:20 a.m. on September 13, 1943, a 23-year-old corporal from Pittsburgh was crouched behind a stone wall near Altavilla, Italy. He had been awake for 28 hours. He had killed 40 German soldiers, and he was out of ammunition. Behind him, a burning ammunition dump. In front of him, another wave of German infantry climbing the hill. His rifle was empty. His grenades were gone. So he did the only thing left. He picked up a German weapon and kept fighting. Charles E. Kelly grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, one of 9 children. His father was a steel worker. The family was dirt poor. Kelly dropped out of school at 15. He shined shoes. He delivered newspapers. He never fired a weapon until the army handed him one. He enlisted in 1942. Nothing special, just another kid from a mill town who wanted to serve. By September 1943, he was a corporal in the 143rd Infantry Regiment, 36th Infantry Division, and he was about to become the first American soldier in the European theater to receive the Medal of Honor. But he didn't know that yet. All he knew at 6:20 that morning was the Germans were coming, and he was the only thing between them and the ammunition dump that supplied his entire company. The hill above Altavilla was strategic ground. Whoever held the hill controlled the Salerno beachhead. The Germans knew this. They had fortified the position with machine gun nests, mortars, and a full company of experienced troops. Kelly's platoon was ordered to take the hill. They crawled up through olive groves under mortar fire. Half the platoon was pinned down. The other half was falling back. Kelly didn't fall back. Armed with a Browning automatic rifle, a BAR, he crawled forward alone. He flanked the first machine gun nest and eliminated it at close range. Then the second. Then the third. By the time he reached the ammunition dump at the top of the hill, he had cleared the position. But his platoon had withdrawn. He was alone, and the Germans were regrouping. Here's where the math gets uncomfortable. Intelligence later estimated that Kelly faced between 50 and 60 German soldiers in successive waves over the next hour. He had 1 BAR, limited magazines, no radio, no support, no backup plan. A normal soldier would have retreated. A smart soldier would have retreated. Kelly stayed. He positioned himself behind a stone wall overlooking the slope. The Germans came in waves of 8 to 10 men. Each time, Kelly waited until they were within 50 yards. Then he fired, wave after wave, reload after reload, until the BAR ran dry. This is the moment most people would break. His primary weapon empty. The Germans still coming. The ammunition dump behind him, packed with explosives that could level the entire hillside. Time. Kelly looked around. At his feet, a dead German soldier. Next to him, a Mauser rifle. Kelly picked it up, checked the magazine. 3 rounds, 3 rounds, 3 Germans. He fired, reloaded from another fallen enemy, fired again. When the Mauser jammed, and it jammed, he picked up a third weapon from a third dead German. He was no longer fighting with American equipment. He was fighting with whatever the enemy left behind. For 45 minutes, this continued. A German mortar round landed 5 feet from his position. Shrapnel tore into his leg. He didn't stop. Another round, more shrapnel. He kept firing. Here's where it gets strange. At some point during the firefight, Kelly ran back into the burning ammunition dump, the one he was supposed to be protecting, grabbed a bazooka, and fired it at a German position. The blast was so close it nearly killed him too. No, nobody ordered Kelly to hold that hill. His platoon had withdrawn. He could have disappeared into the olive groves and no one would have blamed him. Years later, when asked about that morning, Kelly gave the most Pittsburgh answer possible. He shrugged and said, "Somebody had to do it." But there's another detail they don't put in the citations. The ammunition dump Kelly was protecting, it didn't just belong to his company. It was the forward supply point for the entire 36th Infantry Division. If the Germans captured it, they could have turned the division's own explosives against the Salerno beachhead. Thousands of American lives. Kelly knew this. He wasn't just defending a pile of crates. He was defending the invasion. When reinforcements finally arrived, they found Kelly still on the hill. His uniform was shredded. His leg was bleeding from shrapnel wounds. Around him, the bodies of German soldiers he had killed with weapons that were not his own. Time. The official citation says he killed 40 Germans. Fellow soldiers said the number was higher. Kelly never corrected either version. On March 2nd, 1944, 6 months later, Charles E. Kelly stood in the White House. President Franklin D. Roosevelt hung the Medal of Honor around his neck. The first European Theater Medal of Honor of World War II, a shoeshiner from Pittsburgh. Kelly came home a hero. Parades, newspaper headlines. They called him Commando Kelly, a nickname he never asked for. He toured the country selling war bonds. He met presidents. He was 24 years old. But the rest of his life was quieter. He worked as a maintenance man, lived modestly, never chased fame, never wrote a book. When asked about the war, he would change the subject. He died in 1985, buried at Highwood Cemetery in Pittsburgh, Section K, Lot 136, not far from the steel mill where his father worked. Not far from the steel mill where his father worked. A man who picked up the enemy's weapons when his own ordered him to hold. A man who was exactly what the moment required, and nothing more.